Greetings and welcome to Your Place on the River, a podcast brought to you by Carriage Kia of Woodstock, Georgia, and featuring Chattahoochee Nature Center, where our mission is to connect people with nature. CNC is a private, nonprofit 501c3 organization supported by our members, community at large, and listeners like you. To learn more about Chattahoochee Nature Center, visit chatnaturecenter.org. To comment on this podcast, tweet us at CNC Nature and use hashtag YPOTR. I'm Larry Stevens, a naturalist here at Chattahoochee Nature Center, joined by co-host Scott Tracy, our jolly field guide.
Hey, Larry, how you doing, buddy?
Okay, good to see you as always.
Yeah.
Today we'll find out about some special programs CNC offers. So, Scott, whom shall we chat with first? What can you tell us about her?
Well, today we're going to talk with the lovely Fabiola Clermont, our event supervisor here at Chattahoochee Nature Center. She's in charge of running all of our in-house events, as well as our rentals, such as weddings. And so, she's going to tell us how our events flow so naturally here, all while considering our environmental impact, and also what it took for her to get here. So where do we begin, Fabi?
So I was born in New York City, grew up in Brooklyn. My parents are from Haiti. My mom is from like a tiny little farm town called Gonaïves in Haiti, and my dad's from Port-au-Prince. And they came to this country and they met in college in New York, and they both come from pretty significant scientific fields themselves.
Right.
And then I came here and didn't want to do any of the traditional immigrant jobs like doctor, nurse, or engineer, and they're like, what to do with this child?
Right, of course. High hopes. But you still turned out great.
Allegedly.
So you folks moved to Atlanta, and you went to high school here, and then you went off to the University of Georgia to study.
Yes, so I went off to the University of Georgia to study just like biology in general, but with a focus in like pre-veterinary intent. And I ended up in the field of poultry science, which if anybody knows anything about chickens, it's strange. It's very different from just like birds in general. Bird people are interesting and chicken people are a different kind of interesting.
Wow.
But it's a very commercialized field, and, you know, it's one of those things where every week you got to kill a chicken. And
Well, I eat chicken every day.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah, chicken is a huge part of, like, globally how we feed each other. I think India is, like, the biggest consumer of chicken in the entire world. But learning about, like, the broiler chicken and the, you know, commercialization of all of it, and those mega corporations like Tyson, how they kind of, like, basically put small farmers out of business.
Yeah.
And it kind of monopolizes the entire agriculture industry, kind of pushed me more into environmental conservation, just because I wasn't happy with where I was at the time, and I wanted to try and change the system from the inside.
Of course, yeah. Do you offhand know how many multiples of chicken than there are in people in this world?
No.
No, that's a lot.
But it's when you moved over into the environmental area, and you had a fascinating time in Costa Rica.
Yeah, that was fun. So in Costa Rica, I worked at the Refugio in San Jose. It was interesting because, you know, when I grew up, I worked and volunteered a lot at shelters and veterinarian hospitals where you have all of the equipment there for you. And when you work in the rainforest, you kind of have to MacGyver everything. So sometimes you pull together an ambu bag out of like a Walmart fan and a Ziploc bag and get a caiman to breathe that way, which is, you just have the materials that you have. But yeah, a lot of it was, you know, working in any wildlife rehab, wildlife refuge. Anyone can tell you it's kind of frustrating to just see the violence that humans will inflict upon animals because they don't understand them. But other than that, it was a great learning experience. I definitely did a lot of catching frogs also, kind of in the Tirambina area, catching poison dart frogs to kind of test their abundance.
Yeah, you did your report on the strawberry poison dart frog, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, they're the guys that look like they're wearing red T-shirts and blue jeans.
Okay.
And they are poisonous if you lick them, so don't.
Can you touch them? You like handle
You
them?
can,
But
yeah.
then don't lick your fingers after.
They're a little, they're kind of a little menaces just because they have a very distinctive call. And you can kind of hear them laughing at you as you're trying to catch them, and you can't figure out where they are. But we did learn that because the colors, the brightness of the colors are what like attracts them to each other for like mating purposes. So actually, if you wear camouflage, they are more likely to stay away from you versus if you wear bright colors, they're more likely to be attracted to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how long were you down there? Like a semester?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you came back to Athens and finished up your degree.
Yes, finished up my degree. I started working for the Park Service in West Virginia, which is a fun little like transplant thing. Lived in the town of Dunglen, population 7. It was 8 when I moved in a little cabin on the river at the bottom of a ravine.
And what did you do for the Park Service?
I caught salamanders, so I moved on from frogs.
Sticking with your amphibians.
Yes, sticking with my amphibians because New River Gorge Park has probably like the healthiest hemlock stands in the East Coast, and they survived the hemlock woolly adelgid issue with the use of a pesticide called imidacloprid. But they didn't do an environmental impact study before they used the pesticide, so part of me catching salamanders, which is fun because we give them little apartments. We have like little wooden boards, and they'll hide under there, and you'll survey around the park, pick up the boards, pick up the salamanders, stretch them out, weigh them, measure them, take their picture, and then you enter all that data and just kind of, monitoring the sex, the size, the weight, the abundance of salamanders. Over the years, they're good bioindicators since they breathe through their skin of any environmental changes in the area. So.
And then you spent some time with AmeriCorps, is that correct? Was that before or after?
That was through AmeriCorps, yeah.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. And then?
And then I came back home because I needed money.
Oh, that.
Yes, as anyone can also tell you, the thing about working in wildlife biology or conservation is they don't like to pay you a livable wage. A lot of jobs, you actually pay them to work, so that's
crazy.
Fun. But yes, so I needed to find a job that was going to pay off those student loans, and I ended up finding a job at the Nature Center. Originally, I was applying to be a naturalist, but they apparently had training that was going on in the next season or whatever, so I couldn't wait around that long. And so I just applied to be an event support staff here. And then I came in there and I was like, wow, there's a lot of things, a lot of work that I could do here, a lot of good work that I could do here. And then I've been here for 4 years now, since, yeah.
So, but you had some natural talents in organizing and setting up events, right?
Yes, allegedly, yes. My mom is an event planner. We've always, before COVID, we used to host parties for like 200 people in our backyard. Caribbean people, we do big parties. So I was in the event planning world for a long time as a kid, like running around, doing errands and stuff like that, setting up. So it wasn't super foreign to me when I started it here.
Yeah, you know what it takes to party.
Yes.
Have an event. Right.
Successful one.
Right.
Yeah.
Successful one. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand when it comes to events the back end of stuff that goes on. People just show up and have a party and they're like, this looks easy.
Right.
I remember once when I was coming out of the Discovery Center and there was these two women there, and it turned out one of them was the bride-to-be and the other one was the wedding planner. And I got on the radio and called your office with your predecessor. And while we were waiting for her to come down, the wedding planner says to me, do you do anything here besides weddings? And I said, well, it's the Chattahoochee Nature Center. So our animals are animatronics. So, but I know that you encounter these misconceptions of the Chattahoochee Nature Center.
That's true. There's definitely misconceptions on both sides. I would say there are a lot of people that come here for an event, whether it's a wedding, a mitzvah, a birthday, reunion, corporate event, whatever, and they'll say, oh, whoa, I didn't know this was here. This is in my backyard. I live 5 minutes away. And you're like, wow, you didn't know? And a lot of them are very, they have trepidations about coming to an event at the Nature Center. But, once you tell them, like I said, we have bathrooms and Wi-Fi, it's fine.
We're civilized.
Yes, we are civilized. Then, a lot of people who aren't big nature nerds, their eyes kind of get opened to all the ways that they can connect to nature and how much more accessible it actually is. Like, you don't have to, camp in the middle of the woods on survival modes to be one with nature. You literally can just take a walk at the Chattahoochee Nature Center and being able to see all that wildlife up close and learn about the watershed that they are connected to, whether they realize it or not. That's one of the things that I like about working at the Nature Center. We kind of talked about me working for the Park Service. Not everyone there cares about the actual park part. But here, everyone is kind of united in that mission to, protect the environment. And a lot of that is through education. And it's not just the education department or schools or camp. Sometimes it's people who just didn't know that we were here, or people who discover us through a friend's wedding. And they're like, wow, we would love to come.
That's what I was thinking I was going to say. It's like when you have a big event, you have 200 people, and a person who would probably never on their own volition come to a place like this show up at a wedding, and they're just dumbfounded that this place is as beautiful as it is. And whether they come back here or start going to other places, we can be a nexus for their launch into the natural world. Even at a regular event, as you said, because we do a lot of that coordinated work through our education department, but it just doesn't end there. Everything we do here.
Everything here is connected. So, they may come to a family fun day or a butterfly festival or Sunset Sips concert, and then they may think, oh, I didn't realize you guys did events here. I would love to, host a training for my company here. I would love to do a corporate retreat and go on the canoes with my team. I would love to host a birthday party or a family reunion at your pavilion. And, on the other end of that, it's people who come here for those events and don't realize, we do canoes, we have a zip line, we have guided hikes, we have all of these things that you can use to connect yourself with nature. And like I said before, it's really hard to get people to care about the environment if they don't know anything. So once you expose them to those things and they start to realize how connected they actually are with the ecosystem, they start to have a better understanding of how they can affect change. So it starts with baby steps.
Sure. And one of the ways that maybe you're looking towards the future to do that is with your, title here being an event planner and all that, is trying to find some way to have a more environmentally friendly event space. Tell us a little about that.
So that's something. So Caroline is the venue sales associate that I work closely with in rental. She's my right hand, and she's the reason that I can do all the things at special events, because she holds down the fort with rentals. But she and I have been, looking into how to make events more environmentally friendly. So we always have our wedding newsletter that goes out with, eco-friendly wedding ideas. We always at walkthroughs talk with the client about how you can not waste food, what's your leftover food plan, what's your leftover decorations and flower plan. But there's other things that we can do, and we started doing more research on that and just trying to figure out how to make the space more environmentally friendly, what we're agreeing with our vendors, what kind of materials that they're using, what they're bringing in, how can we control waste, how can we recycle better. Also just the environmental footprint that we're taking up with all of these events. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of research. It's difficult because not everyone always wants to be on board with those kinds of things. Some people are styrofoam's cheap, so we're just going to use that. Or I'm going to spend $10,000 on, fresh flowers that are not in season and then throw them all in the trash.
Right.
You can't make people make better decisions, but you can give them the information so that they can choose better for themselves.
Yeah, they're they have to make the conscious decision. And that's okay. Yeah, as you said, it's baby steps for people.
Yeah.
So after this, where do you think you might, well, first, are you still going to try to be a naturalist here? Are you going to fulfill that little dream?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Christy.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they put them to work.
Yeah, they have some interesting schedules, so I don't know how that would work.
True.
Sure, you guys know with events, sometimes we're working 10, 12 hours until 1 a.m., midnight, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever.
Yeah, I learned that we've got the events and then we've got the rental, two separate entities
That's
or
true.
activities.
Yes, special events and rentals are two separate departments. So rentals is when people pay us to rent a space and put on their own events. And special events is when we, as a nature center, we host our own internal events. So things like Butterfly Festival, Halloween hikes, sunset sips,
Possum
Harvest
trot,
on the Hooch,
Possum trot,
Possum
water
trot,
drop dash.
Water Drop Dash, which we
You're
just
only saying that
did.
because you're the possum.
Yeah, so those are things that we host for the community to get them involved and connect them with nature.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, yeah, we're super thankful for all of your hard work here. And I hope maybe in time you get to go back into the post-grad world, as you discussed. I don't know if I have to shake down to pay you.
We are grateful for what you brought to the Nature Center here. You brought some new ideas, fresh ideas, and some given.
Yeah, we're definitely working on kind of expanding that demographic to, attract a more diverse crowd of people at the Nature Center. And doing that, we're, changing some of the activities that we do here and really trying to focus on the mission and not so much just like events for events' sake. So,
Right, of course.
I don't know. Scott, Nature Trivia Night.
Oh, yeah. We got to get the nature trivia going.
Yes, we got to get that
Everybody
going.
loves trivia. Everyone loves to be a smart guy.
Everyone loves trivia, and people of our demographic are such nature nerds. So I know that they're gonna come. If
I know
we do it.
it's cool. It's definitely really cool how many people I know that are super interested in the nature world these days.
Yep.
I don't know like, how much it is with previous generations, but I think definitely because of people's concern with like climate change and all those related things that a lot of people take it to the next step and they go, well, what do I really know about nature? And then start to go down that path. So.
It's definitely a more immediate concern for our generation, kind of, in combination with social media, being able to see so much of what's going on in all parts of the world. We talked about like the SLAM maps and how being able to determine water level 5-10 years from now, which parts of the world will be underwater. And that's not stuff that we had, 20 years ago. But now it is alarming because it's like, what as a person can you do to change, stop, slow that down? What are the small things that you can do? What are the big things that you can do?
Buy indoor plants.
Buy indoor plants. Yeah.
Ethically grown.
Hydroponically.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that too. All right. Well, we're super happy to get you in here to talk with us today. And we wish you well in all of the future events.
Yeah,
We'll
Thank
be
you.
there.
Thanks for taking the time to visit with us.
Thank you guys for having me and for asking all these insightful questions. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
See you around campus.
See you in like 10 minutes, I'm sure.
Bye.
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 It's always a treat to visit with Fabi and find out all the cool things she's working on for the Nature Center here.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. She is a real eventaholic.
Yeah, so we are in vehement agreement again.
Of course.
Of course. Let's turn now to our Education Programs Supervisor, Mark Gialanella, who's going to talk to us about the community programs that he's in charge of. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Larry and Scott.
Hi, Mark.
Good.
I'm here.
Why don't you
I'm
give us just a general overview of what the community programs are that you're over?
Sure. So here at the Nature Center, one of the areas that I work in is what we call community programs. And so this area is providing educational program for the public. So I'm not really working on booking programs for schools or summer camps, but our families and community groups, organizations like that might want to have a program at the Nature Center, or scout programs and other community entities. So that ranges from a lot of different things, whether it's going to be a birthday party for a family, badge program for a scout troop, canoeing on the river or ponds, or some of our family programs that we have, like our night hikes, or what we call Pee Wee Naturalists for our 3- and 4-year-olds. So it really encompasses quite a range of offerings.
And some of these offerings have special things that come with them. For example, with the Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the Brownies and the Cub Scouts, And you told me about a scholastic or scholarship.
Right. So for our Cub Scout and Boy Scouts, we actually have a special scholarship that is here at the Nature Center that is for that organization, that was established by a parent who their son passed away very early, unfortunately. And we, in the Scouts' memory, we have a memorial scholarship that is in place to honor that Scout. And we have been able to provide programs for Scouts that might not necessarily have the financial means to do that independently. So with some of our Cub and Boy Scout programs through this memorial scholarship, we have been able to offer merit badge programs to Scout groups that might not be able to get here or be able to have those means to be able to pay for their program. So we've been able to do that. We've also been able to do some campouts and things of that nature.
Great.
If you don't mind my asking, where is the money for the scholarship coming from?
Oh, that's a great question. So the family provides a donation regularly, and then we also have the ability for the public to donate, which I believe, and there's a way on our website to do that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, nice. And of course, there are wonderful birthday parties, and that involves a live animal or two demonstration, and a hike, and cool goodie bags. But you told me about a special situation with one birthday party that I want you to tell us about, please.
Sure. Well, that's exactly right. You said pretty much what we do with our birthday parties. But the birthday party that you're thinking about was very special. You know, the Nature Center not only provides education, but we're strong believers in the healing power of nature. And for this birthday party, there was a family of refugees from the Middle East who had recently come to the United States. And one of their children, it was their birthday, and they really wanted to celebrate the birthday. But it was going to be the first time doing something like this in a new place, thousands of miles from home. And they weren't really sure where they would feel safe or accepted. And they came across the Chattahoochee Nature Center in their search for a place to have this party. And I happened to actually be doing that party. And the mother told me this whole story about, their travels to the United States. And it was really quite a story of what they went through and the hardships they went through to get here. And she was just so thankful after the party that she was essentially in tears just from happiness. And she said, we felt so safe here. Everyone was so welcoming. We remember this experience for the rest of our lives, and just the smile on that family's face and all of the children was just incredible. You could tell that this was special. They had not experienced happiness in a long time. And that's something that we do at the Nature Center that is really special to us. It's making those families have those experiences through nature, and our staff, things that our staff and the wildlife experiences. That's just something that doesn't happen every place.
Yeah. Another family you worked with was a canoe story. We've got our canoe program, right? That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings, and then the family on the pond on Saturdays. But you had one special story about a family, how the canoeing was, again, as you mentioned, the healing part of nature.
That's right. We have families come out to have an experience on the river, whether it's they just want to go out and have a good time, or whether it's something that they really want to do to bond together. And this experience that you're talking about, there was a family who, this was kind of unknown at the time, sort of like the birthday. This was all kind of after the fact when the parent told me that, where the family had booked a canoe trip, and they had not done much together as a family in recent times because they had actually experienced a tragedy where it was a young family, and the father had died unexpectedly, passed away unexpectedly, and they wanted to do something together. And we had one boy of this family that was with us and paddled with one of our guides. And this boy had been very withdrawn, I learned after, from the mother, and had just not had happy experience for months. And this boy paddled with one of our guides and just lit up and talked to the guide. The guide was teaching him how to canoe, teaching him all the strokes. He was smiling, interacting with our guide, and his face lit up the whole time, all the way down and back on the river. And that mother said that she had not seen him in that level of happiness in months after experiencing that tragedy. And she was just so grateful to having that experience with us on the river.
Yeah, and you may want to point out that the guide was a man, a father.
That's right, that's right.
So they were sort of this male bonding, male image or father image for the boy to connect with.
That's right. That's what the mother had said, had really a father or a male adult to look up to in months.
A lot of kids here, definitely in our camp programs as well, end up seeing a lot of our counselors in a similar sort of fashion. There's a lot of potential for good role models here at the Nature Center. Yeah, that's cool that he got to find that too.
Absolutely.
But not me. Don't look at me. Just kidding.
Okay. I'll avert my eyes. But while we're on the canoes and on the water, tell us about the Paws. What is it? Paws for Life.
Paws for Life.
Not
yes.
the pause that refreshes, but the Paws for Life.
No, yes, the Paws for Life. PAWS.
Thank you very much.
So great. So yes, that's a very special partnership that we've had for the last couple of years here at CNC. And what this organization does is they train service dogs with their handlers to get to the point where that dog can then be placed with its permanent owner, who would benefit from having a service dog from whatever, if they had a disability or were blind or anything like that, they would have the service dog to assist them. And one of these programs that we do with these dogs every year is very special. And while we can't, have folks bringing their pet dogs here to the Nature Center, we do have this special partnership where the dogs and their handlers go canoeing on our pond. And this is an experience so that the dog is able to be comfortable when they get to their permanent placement, that person that they're with could also then experience canoeing or on-the-water activities with their dog. So we've had them on the pond. We work with getting the dog comfortable with going into the boat, getting out of the boats. We go through this several times. We actually practice on land first, and then we move to the dock, because then they have to step off the dock into the water and then paddle in the pond. And the dogs just love it. They feel so relaxed out there. And the participants enjoy it as well, because it's a little bit different experience. If you're training a service dog and you're learning about all of those everyday tasks in life that the dog will eventually assist its permanent owner with, well, canoeing on a pond is probably not one of those things that you'd think of putting on that list. But it's important that the folks with the service dog also have these recreational opportunities, and they need their dog to be able to do those successfly. So it's a really great partnership that we've been able to foster over the last couple of years, and they're going to come back again this year, and we're looking forward to it.
Did any of these service dog trainers, were they able to describe anything more unique than having their dogs get in and out of a canoe? Like, did they have to do any other training that came close to that?
I don't know if they've done anything beyond, anything more unique than that. But one thing that is nice is that when they are here, they also are using our grounds to enhance their training.
Oh, sure,
so,
yeah.
For example, going in and out of buildings, there's the button to push for the doors to open for handicapped accessibility. They work on hitting those buttons with their paws.
Yeah,
So
I can't think of anyone providing a service more interesting for a service dog to learn than to be a canoe partner.
Right. It is pretty unique and interesting. Right. It's kind of a one-of-a-kind
Part of
thing.
the canoe crew. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, took my dog in a canoe once, and all she kept doing was exiting. It's not very serviceable.
Well, for these dogs, it's great because it gives whoever winds up with them, gives them greater freedom and opportunities for recreational activities.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good. Again, back on the nature's healing we also have our connection with the cancer support program, right?
That's right. And that works with Northside Hospital. We have a good relationship with them. They've been big supporters of the Nature Center. And one of the things that we do with them is we create nature experiences for folks that are either going through cancer treatment and their families to come here and have very unique experiences that range all from, we talked about the canoeing, we have pond canoeing for them. We have a gardening class. We also do, we're going to do a meditation with butterflies class this year on the butterfly encounter, some forest bathing. So all of those opportunities that allow folks to escape and be able to and have some enjoyment in their lives. If you think about, going through cancer treatment, that's a pretty intense experience, and being able to provide an opportunity to have that enjoyment and the peacefulness and the relaxation that nature provides, we're just thrilled that we can offer those opportunities. And this started in just being maybe a one or two classes, a few years ago, and now it's evolved into a whole year-long curriculum.
Wow.
Terrific.
Yeah, nature's definitely has always been a great coping mechanism for people all through the eons of history, and it's cool that we're helping guide that process.
That's right. That's really what we do. We're really guides for folks to get out in nature and experience it. And that's one of the things that we're really proud of. We can give you those tools. We can get you outside, and then if that's something that folks want to pursue on their own, that's great.
Yeah. So we got no special programs, but we have just regular programs for forest bathing and photography. We got the owl prowl. We got watercolor painting. We have our monthly nature club. That's an adult thing. We have a guest speaker. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our Pee-wee naturalists. Those are our 3- and 4-year-olds, and they're accompanied by an adult. And I've had the honor of working with them the second Tuesday of every month. And we do a craft, and we do a song, and we do a hike, and we do an animal demonstration. And the fun thing about that is then 5-10 years after they've gone through the Pee-wee Naturalist program, I come across them here at the Nature Center and talk to their parents about how they flourish and how their love of and knowledge of nature has grown and grown and grown and grown. So it's funny. Sometimes, if I see them maybe when they're 6 years old, and they'll say, "Hey, there's Mr. Larry, from Pee-wee." He said, "I'm not a Pee-wee anymore," but they go on and it's very gratifying.
Well, at that age, it's like proactive healing.
Yeah.
Just getting people already in that headspace to
and
manage.
It's fun for the kids and fun for the adults who accompany them. Yeah. All righty. Anything else there, Mark? You want to share with us about your programs?
You've done a great job naming a bunch of them, but just
I had a good coach, didn't I?
Yeah. Yes, you did. But just know that there's always something new and different happening within community programs at the Nature Center. So just because you may have had one or two experiences here at CNC, or maybe you haven't come here, always something new within community programs, so you can have a amazing nature experience here on our grounds and with our staff.
Check that stress at the door.
That's right.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. All right, that's it for this episode of Your Place on the River, which is brought to you by Carriage Kia of Woodstock, Georgia, and features Chattahoochee Nature Center, where our mission is to connect people with nature. Each new episode is now released on the third day of each month. Until our next episode, we want to leave you with 3 things that you may spot out on our Nature Center campus. Recently, Larry, I've seen some beaver activity on our aptly named Beaver Pond. Lots of beaver chews, and I even saw a beaver hustling back into the water on my morning walk.
Wow, lucky you. I have not seen the beaver out there. I've seen the activity, results of the activity, and I've seen otters on that pond before. But the cool thing that I have seen recently is the great blue heron rookery up in the trees there behind the red-shouldered hawk and down near the dock on our kingfisher pond. And speaking of kingfishers,
Also on the Kingfisher Pond, we have our kingfishers tending to their burrows over in the Kingfisher Pond Trail. There's a little muddy wall there. So keep your eyes peeled for them and their activity, and maybe you'll see a little baby bird. Remember, to learn more at any time about the Chattahoochee Nature Center and what's happening here, please visit chatnaturecenter.org. That's chat, C-H-A-T-T, naturecenter.org. We also invite you to share any questions, suggestions, concerns, or compliments about our podcast, tweeting us at CNC Nature and use hashtag YPOTR.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group, all rights reserved.